Good evening, all you creatures of the night. A woman with a predisposition for civil disobedience has reached the end of the line. The state's rehabilitation efforts won't cut it, and she's sentenced to house arrest with her estranged mother and taciturn stepfather to gain some stability. She's sentenced to 8 months, but little does she know, she isn't the only one who's been held inside this house against her will. Lurking within the walls, slithering through the pipes, creaking the floorboards, and sending eerie calls via a Motorola. A deep, uncovered secret lies dormant. Some entity still clings to the fibers of this home and it wants out. Who will make it out the front door first? This is It Records. Hello, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, as always, Matt Johnson. And today I'm here with, the fantastic, just a brilliant guy. I don't know anybody better, but another host, Peter Hansen. Peter, thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, I guess. And I wouldn't say the same about you.
Thanks, Pete. I'm still going to do it every episode. So, and again, if you listened last week, we have another host with us who joined us from Misery, and she's with us today. We got Lindsey Clark here in the studio.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
Quick and
it's
to the
good
point.
to have you. All right. And this week we watched 2014 New Zealand film Housebound. Housebound is the name of the film, directed by Gerald Johnstone. And this is his first movie, directing and writer, actually.
Your client has been through a number of these treatment programs in the past, and the results have been less than spectacular. Miss Bucknell is in need of stability. I'm therefore ordering an urgent report into the suitability of her mother's house for a sentence of 8 months home detention.
Gosh, that's high tech, isn't it? Aren't you lucky, Kylie, having all that fancy technology on your foot?
Nice being back home.
Some things have happened since I've been here. Things I can't explain.
I'm not the only one who thought there was a ghost in this house, Kylie.
What are you going to do against a hostile spirit?
I'm gonna smash it in the face.
When you put an overactive mind in an inactive environment, there's bound to be complications.
I don't need a counselling session, I just need to get out of this house!
Oh no, they've been doing this all week. Hold on.
The restless spirit that lives in this house, what is your business here?
So, are you happy to proceed with the story that Mr. McRandall was attacked by a vengeful ghost?
Yes.
Righto.
There's that fact. And I've actually been wanting to see this one for a while, and it was Pete's recommendation, so Pete, thanks for throwing it out this week. I've been seeing it on Netflix for a while, and always kept forgetting about it.
Yeah, I do what I can.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, then we'll just, I guess, blow right into it if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you guys are, caught up on your New Zealand films, so I don't really need to tell you, but I will just in case. This movie, Housebound, it's about a young woman. She's forced to return to her childhood home after being placed under house arrest, and she suspects that something evil may be lurking within the home. Basically what you got from the intro. And from there, hell breaks loose. For horror relevance, it's a straight up. Well, I guess going into it, it just seemed like a haunted house type film, like a supernatural. It kind of took a different turn for me later in the film, and just the total tone of it. But
It changed gears.
Without saying spoilers, I don't know. Well, yeah, it definitely did. And even
We could.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say we could dive into that part later, but we could build up to what you're talking about. Kind of how it progressed.
Sure, Pete. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it's got all the tropes that you'd expect in a haunted house horror film, from that creepy little doll. I don't know if you guys remember that thing.
Yeah.
That grossed me out. But yeah, we can just go dive right into the movie then. It's almost 2 hours long, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's about 2 hours. 2 hours.
It's 106 minutes, so it felt like 2 hours to you, I guess.
Yeah, I had a long day.
You said that you had a whole plate of pasta. And
Yeah.
as you were eating it, so I don't know if that really goes well with seeing creepy ghosts and dolls.
It doesn't. I'll throw that out there. But it was the first time for everything. I was starving. I just got home.
Did
I
like
threw
a
it up.
really gross part happen, and then you slapped yourself in the face with the spaghetti?
No,
Oh, thank God.
Was it spaghetti? I just assumed it was.
no, it was fettuccine Alfredo. So
Even better.
Oh wow, look at you.
yeah, that's good
Is
stuff.
did you make it yourself, or did you get it from Market Day?
I made it myself.
I don't even know Market Day exists anymore.
I don't know.
So, you want to talk about the character of Kylie?
Sure.
Well, I found her to be kind of irritable. She's got a lot of stuff to be mad about. Does anyone know how old she's supposed to be? Because she looks. I wasn't really able to tell.
That's a great question, actually.
I want to say she acts like she's 17, but she looks 30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
she's. Let me do the math. 28? No, 31. She's 31. Yep, I'm a huge fan of the actress. No, I just happened to look that up when I was doing some research, because I too had a similar feeling of like, I thought she was supposed to be like kind of a delinquent youth a little bit, like she'd just kind of run away from home, but she did look like she was like 30. So yeah, I don't know how old she's supposed to be within the frame of the movie though.
Yeah, like she's not like going to school or anything, obviously. Like she's kind of just like stuck in that house for, I don't know, at least, 7 months, 8 months? Something like that.
Well, she's up to no good within the first 5 minutes of the movie.
True. Hard to ignore.
With her boyfriend or something at the time.
Yeah, does it? I don't even.
I just
Totally
assumed
fails.
partner in crime. I mean,
Partner in crime could also mean boyfriend.
true. This is
But
Yeah,
it doesn't explicitly. We don't know.
It's not determined.
yeah.
He like knocks himself out too soon for us to know.
They
And then
weren't
he was gone from the
exclusive.
movie.
Yeah, that's true. He never came back.
No mention of him whatsoever. And he got knocked out because the sledgehammer head came off, right? And hit himself?
Yes, that is what happened, I believe.
Yeah,
That's a
I
thing
was kind
that
of
can happen?
confused by that.
I guess he was just hitting that ATM too hard.
That's what
Hit a
she
sledgehammer
got.
in the face.
I mean, they're all metal. I don't know what they're made of.
I'd say it's pretty close.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, she's like mad about a lot of stuff and definitely doesn't get along with her mother and her husband, like at all. And she's definitely not the type, like, because she kind of overhears her mom, saying she thinks the house is haunted. She's completely cynical. She's like annoyed at the fact that her mother would even, suggest something like that.
And her mom's like really nice too. She's
Yeah.
like those stereotypical like overprotective moms. And she's like, I hate you so much, Mom,
So nice.
for taking care of me.
There were some cringeworthy moments when the mom was just being so sweet, or like, I don't know, like she asked about the meatloaf when she came home or whatever, and she was so mean to her mom.
Didn't she eat like the whole thing?
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm gonna posit there that I think, and this is spoilers for future in the movie, I think Eugene ate some of that.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't catch
Because-
that.
I didn't catch it at the beginning, but like they said something about he goes to the pantry. That's why he has that little whole thing.
Okay,
And
okay.
he eats their food. We'll get to Eugene later.
Got it made.
already.
Oh,
But Eugene eats their food.
I'm following you now. At first, I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Okay, so yeah, Kylie's got some troubles.
No, I read the director made Kylie seem like hard and have like a rough exterior shell, and seemed like really distant from people, so it didn't feel like things would get to her or she wouldn't be scared of anything. So that when she actually was scared later in the movie and believed that there was some supernatural thing happening, it would seem more palatable. That the audience would be more scared because now this tough character is terrified of what's happening.
Yeah.
At least that's what he was trying to do.
I think the actress really did a good job with that. I totally believed, like, you know, this, I don't know, this brooding soul, like, kind of character that she had. Like, she totally bought it.
Mm-hmm. I liked most of the acting, I thought, in this movie. Especially, the stepfather.
Yes.
He killed it with barely saying anything.
Amos.
No, that's the security guy who.
Oh, that is. Yeah, I'm looking at the cast right now, and I couldn't remember his name.
The stepfather's name is like.
Grammy.
Yeah, that one. That's the one it is. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that says.
Mm.
Nah, Amos is a solid dude. I liked him from the beginning.
Yeah, I liked his character a lot, and his like seamless transition from security, because she's got the ankle bracelet on for being on house arrest, so he's got to watch her, to as soon as they bring up that there might be a ghost in the house, he's like, "Oh, ghosts? Perfect. I hunt them." And he's like all about it. So yeah,
That
I love
was a
Amos.
very interesting, smooth transition for him. I was like, oh, multi-talented, got it.
Yeah. Amos can do anything, really.
Mm-hmm. Jack of all trades.
It's really that he just has the hots for her.
Is that what you picked up? What about her boyfriend from the beginning, Pete? She's taken, as you've said.
We've decided that they weren't exclusive.
Oh, okay. So it's
it seemed like they had a little past. Maybe he had a crush on her when they were in grade school. I don't know what they do over there. I don't know. I'm assuming it's the same thing.
Okay, all right.
Here's a theory.
Girl next door. You know how this shit goes down.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He said he's in the neighborhood. He grew up in the neighborhood.
I was being serious.
Well, I had forgotten that point where he's not only the security officer hunts ghosts, but he has always lived in the neighborhood. Oh, Amos.
He's one of those guys that never left.
All right, so we've talked about some characters. I think we should give the people sort of what the plot is, what is happening in this movie. But we basically said she's under house arrest, and she starts to witness, I guess, just like
weird activity.
Yeah, like a stuffed bear talks to her and says that I can hear you breathing. The Motorola phone goes off several times. That's her phone though, right? Or is it just
It's funny to see
phone?
a Motorola phone though, don't you think? Because they're not around anymore.
Yeah, I thought those were obsolete, but hey.
Well, this is 2014, so they were huge in 2014, I guess. Maybe they're still big in New Zealand.
Hey, we don't know.
They're still getting some like old shipments in.
Yeah. Well, that's the phone, right? The Hello Moto? That's Motorola, right?
Yeah, that was like their advertisement campaign.
Okay, I thought that was, yeah. Okay, because I could have been completely wrong. I've done that on this podcast before. I will not.
Every episode.
Yeah. I'll go on about something and people correct me, like I'm way off.
Yeah, so she starts experiencing some creepy stuff, and I think she thinks that it's more an intruder. And meanwhile, her mother's convinced, it's paranormal activity. So she's not. They're at odds.
Yeah, and Kylie thinks it's an intruder because someone grabs her in the basement. We see a hand, at least.
Yeah.
But apparently in the past, her mother and Kylie had some disputes about, like, this place is haunted or there were ghosts here. Like, that's not a new occurrence, I guess, at least for the mother. who listens to a psychic hotline on the radio.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so she's all about the ghost. She thinks the place is haunted. And that's when Amos comes in and is our savior. He's going to hunt these ghosts down in this negative energy.
Did you find you guys be as scared at any parts in this movie? Or at least that, thought were building up to something pretty good?
I would say building up. I thought it did a good job of like building an atmosphere and a tension, like especially with like holding shots and just maybe the sound with it. But there weren't any like instances where I was terrified of what I saw. I guess it was more of like the jump scare tactic.
I think a lot of the times where it was like building up tension and then it'll lead to like a laugh.
Yeah.
And then kind of shortly after there would be a scare. It kind of was like a lot of that.
Yeah, there is some comedy mixed in with this movie for sure. So were there any moments where I was like terrified? No, but I would agree. I think that there were a lot of really good like building up elements that were mixed in with throughout.
And we mentioned, a lot of comedy in this film. How did you guys feel about the overall tone then of this movie? I guess because it's a horror premise, and like you have all these scary scenes and these tension building, but there's a lot of comedy and a lot of punchlines that just seem like, I thought they fit pretty well.
I thought so too. I thought that it was really funny, and then since they were actually good at building up tension, and like even though I wasn't scared, I was like, oh, this is like they're doing a good job. Like it wasn't just like I don't even like don't want to say low brow. Like they're avoiding low brow for the most part because their comedic moments were like smarter scripted moments. Not like a scary movie situation or any of those movies.
No, definitely. That's kind of the vibe I got, where I didn't think it was like Scary Movie because it's not like a total parody where it's like it's not even subtle, the jokes, like they're right in your face, or it's not like a slapstick horror where I'm thinking like Reanimator or something where it's almost over the top, or The Burbs, what we've talked about, where it's almost over the top comedy and it's more in your face. This one just seemed seamlessly to fit in almost to like a dark comedy horror type movie.
Yeah,
but it's horror, but it worked well for me. It worked well. I thought it was a good job.
It was like written as a dark comedy first, I want to say, and then they're just like, you know what? Let's infused it to a ghost story.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a nice job blending the genres together, I think.
Is it determined that Amos is the heart and soul of this movie? Is that what we determined? Or is there someone else that you had in mind?
If it's not Amos, I don't know who it would be. Love him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gotta be Amos. Amos for me too.
Not Eugene. He doesn't win you over at the end.
No, he not as much as Amos. No way.
Talk about a nuisance with Kylie, right? Is that her name?
Yeah, that's our main person.
Wouldn't you think Eugene is a bigger nuisance? Now we could just been some time, and we've kind of avoided talking about him for a while. He's just a straight up nuisance because he's stealing food. He's not actually
probably the biggest offense.
He's not. Yeah, there's a spoiler. It's not actually a ghost. It's a guy who's been living in the walls for
a very long time.
Yeah, for like decades. He's been living in the walls, stealing the food, and just living there. Used to live with the neighbor, right?
I can't remember actually. That now that you mention it,
I think the neighbor had like adopted him.
Yeah, because another information: the house that Kylie and her family grew up in previously was, I believe, it's called Sunshine Groves. Again, that could be wrong, but that was the name of like was it a halfway house? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kylie didn't know that, so we didn't know that for most of the film, and then a murder took place there. So, yeah, that revelation that's some dark energy happened in this house. And Eugene is suspect number one because he went missing a year before that happened.
Or you would think like, if he's missing, would you suspect that he's dead? Like he was one of the victims.
He could, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they're like, no, that guy totally did it.
Yeah, because the neighbor, I don't remember his name. Didn't he say? I mean, he was always good with mechanical stuff. Eugene would always be making stuff and tinkering and stuff. Did he say he started like messing with like animals and things like that?
I want to say that you're right.
Yeah.
I have no memory of this whatsoever.
Yeah. It's when Amos got caught inside his house.
Because they initially suspect the neighbor, like, you know, and he kind of tells the story of Eugene, who, yeah, like I said, I think he adopted him, and then he ended up kind of taken off the year prior, so nobody knows what happened to him.
And then he followed that up with, I thought, the idea that like he messed with mechanical things a lot, and then I had to scold him when he started using like animals. And that stuck with me, like, because I feel like we're supposed to sympathize with Eugene, like later in the movie. I'm like, you've been in this house forever, man. You like messed with animals. I don't know.
What are you doing?
Like, if I can forgive you for that. I mean, you seem kind, I guess.
He's just a shy guy.
Yeah. He's a shy guy who doesn't like the sun.
Or a shower.
Yeah. I did like that shot, I don't know, when we first see him, where Kylie goes through the walls and kind of sees his passageways that he has there. And he has that little room with like a TV and everything.
Yeah, dude's got it set up.
It's what is it? The camera's on her and panting, and it slowly like goes up to the left, and it shows his face like coming out of the insulation. Yeah, liked it. Mm-hmm. He reminded me a little bit of I forget one of the burglars from Home Alone. You know what I'm talking about? Not Joe Pesci, but the other guy.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
It's like a bumbling idiot almost.
Yeah, it's got the same hairstyle and.
Yeah. Gets hit by an iron. I don't know if that happens, but. It's just like a iconic scene right there.
So what about the psychologist?
Let's talk about. I don't remember his name, but.
I think is it Dennis?
So.
Dennis, maybe?
I think so.
That's the only other name that we haven't really... Because there's Kylie, Miriam,
Mom.
Amos, Danos, Grammy, and Eugene.
Yeah. So his character really... I guess... I wasn't expecting what was going to happen at the end. I don't know if anybody else... Basically, the psychologist is... the listener is appointed to Kylie to help her through her process and become stable again, living at home and adjusting and everything. So we known him since the beginning. As the movie progresses, we start to learn that he was a part of Sunshine Groves, which was the house they live in. And essentially, spoilers, part of the murder that happened at Sunshine Groves. Yeah.
Yeah, he, like, initially, you know, tries telling the mother and Kylie, like, yo, you guys are delusional, you know, because they start thinking that there's paranormal activity, and he's just, like, not having any of it. He's like, no, like, none of that is happening.
Yeah.
So.
I love when that happens, when there's
The
like
skeptic.
a ghost movie. They're always, like, hardcore. They're, like, against the person. You gotta have it every time. I don't know why, but I don't know. Me and Matt took a screenwriting class, so maybe it's one of those tropes you gotta do.
Yeah, it's like the whole it's in that stage where it's the trials or whatever. It's for the hero to get to the end, to achieve their goal. They gotta have the
that opposing
challenges you got to
force.
overcome, and
Yeah.
the obstacles. It's the what is it? Oh, I'm not. Nobody cares what the actual term is. It's on the tip of my tongue though. Threshold
I just
Guardians.
remember.
Threshold Guardians.
There you go.
Yeah, I did not remember that.
Yeah.
He didn't save the cat though. There was no save the cat moment.
Yeah, I get. Because Save Cat's got to be right at the beginning, and her Save the Cat would have been the ATM scene. We're supposed to, I don't know, sympathize with her for that, I guess.
She blew it up. You know, I could really relate to that.
I think hers is she brought the guy. She dragged the guy with her. She didn't leave him.
Oh, like she brought him to a hospital, right?
Well, I don't know if we know about that. That was her stepfather, but the guy who got knocked out at the ATM, she dragged him over to the car and tried to get away with him.
She tried.
Yeah.
I think that's when I fell in love with Kylie. I don't know about you guys. I was like, that's
there's
this person's
honor
awesome.
amongst thieves.
There's honor amongst
thieves.
Yeah. Thicker than thieves. Is that it?
I don't think that's the whole thing, but I think you got half of it.
I think that. No, we'll go with that's it. That's it.
You have a laptop in front of you. You could look it up.
I could, but I'm looking at you right now, Pete. And I don't want to go anywhere else, so I'll stay right here.
That's all you want to be.
Yeah. We've touched on most of the film, but then I guess we'll talk about the ending with you guys, where we know the psychologist is some sort of semi-serial killer. I don't know. He commits murder. They save the day. But then they flash forward 7 months later.
Kylie
What did you
gets,
think of the ending? I mean,
Kylie's no longer on house arrest, so that rocks. And
it was literally
Eugene
like, oh, sorry.
kinda, I don't know, Eugene's kind of hanging out, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny, actually. I thought it was like a comedic way to end it. Kind of like we talked about the Burbs a little bit ending, how it was like comedic but also had like a scare at the end with the ambulance. I know you weren't with us there, Lindsey, but that's another, I think, comparison movie we could do, because it's like it is founded in horror but it's like very comedic because of Tom Hanks and Corey Feldman. And God, what's the older guy's name? I always forget his name.
Bruce Stern, Bruce Stern.
Yeah, thank you.
Right on. Yeah, what'd you guys think of the ending?
I mean, I also thought it had a comedic ring to it at the end, which is, I thought, almost how the whole movie kind of felt. It had like a satirical this feel to it, but I also thought it was a way to let the audience know that there's like everything's gonna be fine. Like, she's off house arrest. We know the stepfather's fine because he was in the hospital last time we saw, and we know Eugene is gonna be just okay living in those walls. They got to shout out to him.
You know, he doesn't want to leave. He's comfortable there. It's very homey. It's
but do you think Eugene comes out of the walls now that they know he's there? Does he walk in the house? Is he like part of the family now, or is he like, nah, walls are good for me?
I think he comes out every now and again, like on the holidays or something.
Oh, like a special day he comes out. Okay. All right. Sure.
Yeah, they don't really say, so we're kind of just left to our own devices with that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still thinking about it, clearly. I'm still wondering about those 7 months later.
It's an ambiguous ending.
Yeah. But it seems like everybody's fine. And even Amos. Even Amos is there. I thought Amos was killed at the end.
I thought he was done for. I was like, no. I thought he was done for. I was so sad. But then, you know, he's like, I'm back. Everything's fine.
He pulled through.
Yeah, that's how I felt, because the psychologist opened the door when he came in running, and he gave him the phone. And he said, here, call the cops. And the psychologist had that like smirk on his face. And he's like, I got this guy. And then he had the beeper later, which was like to track where Kylie was. So I was like, oh, he had to have killed Amos to get that. But nope. Amos is just fine.
He just stole it from his pocket. I don't know. There's a lot of off-screen shenanigans going around here. Are you guys familiar with kind of like the genre, or is this kind of like still new territory for you guys?
The genre as in like horror and
Not
or haunted house stuff.
Haunted house, you jackass.
I mean, I dabble in horror stuff. I do a podcast once a week or so. No, I like the haunted house subgenre, so I'm fairly familiar with it.
Did it remind you of any ones you've seen, or?
Oh.
Particularly?
No, I got an Orphanage vibe, but I think that's just because I watched The Orphanage like 2 weeks ago. And it's a haunted house movie like this, where they find a secret passageway. No, not off the top of my head. Do you have one?
Well, the only reason I am going to bring up is because I'm reading it, like where it drew inspiration from. But I remember watching it and thinking of it, and it was almost the movie I picked for this week, but I chose a more recent movie because I didn't want to scare Lindsey away with with an old movie right away off the bat. We gotta finessely work that way because she's not as keen as or forgiving as we are. But a Legend of Hell House is the 70s paranormal movie that's just, it's really weird. But it definitely takes a lot from it. And it also said The Changeling, which is another movie that I brought up to you several times, Matt. Yeah. Either during the podcast or off the podcast, we've talked about doing it because it's got George C. Scott and it's like an HBO TV film. And it's one of the better haunted house movies because it's just done very well. And it drew a lot from that one as well.
No, I still really need to see that one because you've been talking it up for months now.
Well, you know what we'll do, since it's really hard to find. I have it on DVD.
Okay.
Just watch it. Do a little viewing party, and we'll do it then.
Okay. All right. Or we could do a full length session, live session, watching the video.
Like we did with Night of the Living Dead.
You know it. Yeah, I'll throw back a few beers and watch The Changeling with you, Pete.
Lindsey, are you up for this undetermined future viewing?
Who, me? Always. Yeah. Yes, that's a yes.
Yeah.
Bring your liquor of choice.
Woo!
Can do.
I don't know what that is. I don't know. You could be hard alcohol, mixed drinks. Maybe you're a wine person. I don't know.
All of the above.
Could be all over the board, Pete. Could be all the above. We don't know.
Martini? I don't know.
No, definitely not martinis. That was the first drink I actually had when I turned 21 because I had this distorted view of what martinis were. Never again.
They're gross.
They're really gross. No to this.
It's the vermouth.
Yeah. But we don't have to talk about it, so.
So Housebound.
Defend or destroy? Let's start with Lindsey.
Okay. I'm going to defend it. I think, like I said, I think they did a really nice job blending the horror and the comedy genres together into, mixing those elements. And I think the acting was really good. I really praised Morgana O'Reilly, I believe that's her name, the lead actress. I think she really captured the spirit of Kylie and everything that she was supposed to be, kind of like I touched on before, this, kind of dark and troubled, possibly a teenager. We don't really know how old she's supposed to be. But I think she did a really nice job. I think the actor who played Amos as well, nailed it. I think he absolutely did. Everyone did a really good job. And I don't know if I almost feel kind of cheated that there's no actual paranormal activity. That's my only thing. We're kind of led up to a certain point to believe that, and then we find out, hey, no, it's just a dude living in the walls. So that's really the only thing I have. I absolutely, stand behind it. I love it, but that is like the one thing that I had with it.
That's interesting because I had that same feeling that, I felt it's an hour and 50-minute movie. And like for a good hour, I felt like it was leading up to this paranormal something being in the house, and Amos is all about it. He's going to get rid of these things. And then I felt, kind of cheated that it was just kind of brushed off and Eugene's in the walls. I kind of wanted it to be a supernatural element to it. So I agree, but I guess I'll take my turn and defend it as well. Besides that, and I thought it was well too. I thought the comedy, which I enjoyed, I didn't know really that was going to be an element of it until I sat down and started to watch it. And I think it enhanced the film. It was seamlessly worked into with all the horror elements. And I defend it. I defend it and I recommend it to people out there. Pete, let them have it. You're going to destroy it, aren't you?
Yeah, my record is like flawless of not destroying movies.
Yeah,
except for
you're
one.
100% almost.
No, I'm actually there's one movie where I didn't defend actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I could see what you guys are coming from, and I actually thought it was like a little refreshing to kind of go down that route where they kind of like turn you for a loop, and all the way through it, Scott was really funny and had great building up moments. But also like a part of me was like, wait. I was like trying to think of all the instances of paranormal activity, and I was like, wait, maybe there is still something going on that they didn't address. So I thought that, and I had like a huge like conspiracy theory going on in my head, like during both movies, because this is my second time watching it. The first time I rented it from like the Movie Fan. If you guys are familiar, both from ISU.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got it from there. But I thought that they would somewhat tease that there was like something else going on, and I believe that they did the first time I watched it, and I went in thinking that into this movie, and I was like, wait, where's the ghost? So I don't know, maybe it's very subtle, or I just invented this whole second plot that doesn't exist. But other than that, I defend it.
So that's a unanimous defend from the board today. Everybody's on board for Housebound.
Second time in a row.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Can we keep it going?
I don't know. I've been going on a streak for a while of defending. I think I'm up for a destroy pretty soon. Yeah. So no promises. One thing about the film though, there's gonna be a remake, an American remake. So get ready for it, America. I mean, you can find it on Netflix, the New Zealand one, but America's making a remake.
I think Johnstone's actually like writing and directing it too, right?
Oh, I didn't know about that. Maybe.
I think I read that, but I'll double check.
Do you think he's just taking the exact same script and being like, "Hey, I wrote a American script for you"? For this movie.
I was kind of wondering like how much different would it actually be, I mean.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Just change the accent. That's all. Can you read this in a British accent? Not a new. It's funny that they're remaking it because usually American horror movies are notorious for remaking foreign, like movies that aren't in English. But this movie's in English.
Yeah.
So like, I don't understand why they're remaking it.
I don't know.
They're like, that's too hard to understand them. They don't speak American.
They don't speak our American English. Yeah. It almost seems weird to do that now, even more so with like the internet and Netflix and everything. Like you can just get these foreign movies and watch it. Mm-hmm. And then why make the American version if you can just get it so quickly?
Yeah.
I feel like it would fail, but I guess if the original director is involved, I guess there's some hope for it, and hopefully that I don't know. I feel like he has to make it almost like not a whole different movie, but he has to add like different elements to it because I feel like it would just be weird because it wouldn't. Because I feel like New Zealand comedy, like it'd be weird to kind of format for American movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely curious as to what the differences are going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He might add that extra supernatural element we're all craving, apparently, or we all saw.
That would be nice.
Wanted.
And then we hate it.
This movie sucks. With that, I think that wraps up this week's episode of It Records on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in with us. Keep up with all of our news and updates. We got a Twitter. We're on Twitter now. We got a Facebook page. Like it. Get all the new updates. Get on the website. We'll be blogging out there. We write some good stuff. We try to keep you entertained, keep you informed there. And we're on iTunes, so that's where you're listening to us now, or SoundCloud. But just keep us posted on the forums. Let us know what you want us to talk about, or if we missed something you want to hear. And until next time, I think that's all I got. I'll remain in the shadows.
Yeah, I got nothing, but
Still working on it.